to it all. The angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth of stone or ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Welcome to the Watchman News. Today we are going to check out the Coleman dual fuel lantern. This is the model that comes with the case. Okay, it's a 700 lumen model. If you look around, it's kind of hard to find out exactly which model that this particular lantern is. So hopefully I can save you a lot of trouble of trying to figure that out by just letting you know that it is a 285A. So this is a model 285A. Right now, their most common lanterns that you will find for sale are going to be the 285A and the 295A. And I'm talking about the white gas lanterns. Now, the 295A, you may see on the label here above the dual fuel, it will say Powerhouse, okay? I specifically wanted the smaller lantern. Now, I want to make this very clear up front because apparently in my stove video, somebody got the idea that this was intended for hiking. I'm not a hiker. I don't hike. Don't plan on hiking. This is for preparedness. These items are for preparedness. I do not plan on bugging out carrying Coleman white gas products. That's not the intention. You won't see me put or attempt to put a lantern like this or a stove like the 533 dual fuel stove in a bug out bag. That's ludicrous. That's insane. So I want to point that out right up in front. Apparently this gentleman had other issues. To be honest, I think he's got some mental issues to deal with, but nonetheless, that's not why we're here. I did want to make that clear though. The reason I'm making these videos is for preparedness. This isn't items for a bug out bag. Not the intent whatsoever. Many of us don't intend to bug out. We intend to bug in. That is what I'm hoping to be able to do. That being said, we do have a bug out plan, but it consists of more than just our bug out bags. It consists of if we happen to have to bug out with our own devices, so to speak, we've got electric bicycles, we've got trailers for the bicycles, and yes, all of this equipment will come with us. If we had to bug out on foot, we would be in some bad shape as it is. For those that don't know, I suffer from moderate COPD. Jen, aka Gangsta Giggles, she suffers from cerebral palsy, walks with forearm crutches. So you're not going to find us hiking the Appalachian Trail to begin with, okay? So let's get that out front and make that very clear. This is about the lantern and hopefully any other information that I can provide for you in this video. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you what comes in the box. And I've got some other goodies to show you and talk to you about as well. Okay, you do get a case with it. There have been a lot of complaints about this case, okay? And I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of it myself. However, I do want to show you something. There have been some complaints about folks putting their lantern in their case and then the bottom falling out just simply because it's got these tabs here at the bottom. I'm going to be working on a way that I can better secure this case, and when I come up with it, I will make a video. I'm probably going to somehow incorporate paracord to be able to do so. Got a few different ideas in mind. I'm going to kind of mess around, see which one I like best, and then I will make a video with my solution to that. But I do want to show you where I think a lot of people are failing in the operation of these cases. I think a lot of people, what they're simply doing, make sure I get this on camera here, when they put their lantern, you put your lantern in your base, it'll snap in place there in the bottom. I think what people are doing is they're just pushing the top down, They're just pushing the top down like that and walking away. Well, that's not going to do much. As you can see, I just shook it. Even without a lantern in it, it was already falling out. That's not going to do much. So here's what you do. This is how you're supposed to do this. Once you've got your lantern in place and you put your bottom in, right here underneath that black latch, push. Did you hear that snap? You should have heard a snap there. Same with the other side. Make sure that you're snapped in. And the bottom of that latch, there's a tab right there, okay? Trying to make sure you can see that tab good. There's a tab right there. If you don't have that snapped in like that on both sides under that tab, this whole latching system is useless, okay? So if you get one of these and it has this case, remember just to push that in. Make sure you've got those latched in place like they're supposed to be. So aside from that, it seems to be an okay case. Like I say, I'm going to incorporate a different method of being able to secure it just a little bit better. It'll probably utilize paracord, maybe even a little bit of a bungee cord integrated with the paracord. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with. I will let you know as soon as I do it. So, pull the lantern out here. We'll get rid of the larger box. Like I said, I do got some goodies back there I'm going to talk about. Okay. This is the top of your lantern with your bail. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull this all out as one piece or try here. Down in the bottom here we've got our manuals. These use a number 21 manual. Got an instruction manual. And one of the reasons for making this video is I always research products. Even if I already know about the product, I'll research even more. I want to see what other people's experiences are, what they say, what they think. And so I research, and I found a lot of videos where people clearly did not pay attention to this manual. It almost appears like they've never operated a white gas lantern before. And to tell you the truth, they were kind of dangerous in their operation. So I'm hoping to be able to point those things out, make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that they had in their videos. One of them, I can't even believe the guy put the video up. However, he did disable the comments. He did, you know. I can't believe he put the radio. I don't know where that came from. I can't believe he put the video up. As you can see on the manual here, you've got your 285A, which is what we have here, and then there's a 295A. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see it, but above the dual fuel, it will say Powerhouse. Above that is the 295A model. We do have the 285. I wanted a smaller one, so I intentionally got this smaller version. Comes with a filter funnel, just like the stove does. Okay, so now I've got two filter funnels. What I'm going to do with that is I'm probably going to wind up going to one of the bigger coffee containers. I've started me a parts container here. This is a generator for the stove. Generator for a 533 dual fuel stove. So I've already started me a parts container, and I'm probably going to switch over to one of the taller coffee cans. I've got tons of these. So then I may wind up using one of my metal Thomas cans. So anyway, I'll put that funnel in there. We'll be needing it here in a bit anyway, so I'm going to use my funnel that came with my stove, because I'm just going to use one of them at a time. So anyway, let's get the box out of the way. Here is your globe. Be very, very careful with your globe. And here is your lantern. So, pretty simple design. Now, I had commented about this before, that on these newer ones, let me pull this zoom out just a little bit here. I've commented with these newer ones they don't have the generator cleaner lever on them. On the older stoves, or not stoves, lanterns, pardon me, on the older lanterns, on the back side, you would have your valve here. This regulates how much light you put out, okay? On the back side here, there would be another lever, okay? And you would just turn it in a circle, and what it would do is it would push a wire up and down inside of your generator here, okay, to clean it. Now, on the newer models, and apparently they've been doing this for quite some time, this is the first model I've ever had that didn't have that cleaning lever on the back. So, I normally didn't buy them new. I normally would find them used at a yard sale or an auction, and that's perfectly fine to do. In fact, some people say it's preferable because the older units were built a little better. So anyway, to clean your generator now, it's all integrated in with your valve. So you simply just, you know, turn your valve back and forth. I'm kind of halfway around the camera here, so I can't do it as quick, but you do it as quick as you can. Just turn it back and forth. That will clean out your generator. Pretty simple, right? Same idea as the stove. You got your pump right here, okay? You got your fuel tank right here with your fuel lid. Same idea as the other. And we'll be adding fuel in a moment. We're not going to do that right now. The first thing we're going to do is put on the mantles. As soon as I get this cap screwed on. And before I do that, I want to go over a couple of things, and then we're going to get all this stuff off the table. I'm going to get you down closer to the table, and we're going to get this thing put together and lit for the first time. So first off, this is the fuel that you heard me talking about. Sorry, and I'm not going to edit this stuff out, so deal with it. This is the fuel that I'd been talking about that Walmart sells. Now, when I had talked about it, they had it offered for $7.54 a can. So, gonna love this. So, I have been watching the stock here in our local store because, of course, you can't order this from Walmart and have it shipped to your home. So, I've been watching the stock in our local store online, and like a week or so ago, they had 6 cans of this in stock, $7.54 a piece. Then, I've been watching the stock dwindle down over the last several days. First, somebody bought 2 of them, and there were 4 left. And then somebody else went in and bought 1 of them, and there was 3 left. And so last night, Jen, aka Gangsta Giggles, went in and bought 2 of them. So now there's 1 left in stock in our store. However, when they got down to 3 in stock, their price went from $7.54 to, I think it was like $8.86 or $8.82, something like that. And so it's kind of interesting how they started to raise the price on it once their stock got a little lower. So I'm hoping our store orders more in so that they replenish their stock so we can continue getting it. This is a cheaper alternative than the Coleman. The Coleman in stores are right around $13 for a gallon, okay? So this will work fine. Save yourself a little bit of money, and it stores for a really, really, really long time. In fact, we watched a video on the show the other day of a gentleman that hadn't touched his lantern for 19 years. He put fuel in it, never touched it, never done anything with it. And 19 years, and he lit it up. Like, he just fueled it up and put it together the day before, you know. So, it stores for a really long time. Speaking of that, if you ever want to know when your lantern was made, you look at the bottom of it, okay? 4th month of 2019. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but 04, 4th month, 2019. I guarantee you this wasn't built in 1919, so 2019. So this is a relatively new one. If that falls off, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Just sets right in place just like that. Okay? Not a big deal. Comes right off. So, one other thing, let me get rid of this tag here that warns you about the carbon monoxide dangers. So anyway, I've explained to you about the fuel. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to save some money, to go ahead and get the Crown white gas. I mean, there's really not much of a difference in the two. Either one is fine. Either one will store for a really, really long time. And you should be good to go with the Crown versus the Coleman. But if you want to keep running Coleman, that's your prerogative. So anyway, let me go ahead and shut this camera off, get you up a little bit closer, let me get the table cleared off, and we'll get to start on the assembly of this lantern. We'll burn off the mantles and all of that good stuff, and we'll light it for the first time. Okay, now it's time to install some mantles. So, I do want to give one word of caution about mantles. I've already opened up the package here. This is actually take two because of the sirens that you can probably barely hear now. You could hear blaring a moment ago. So, anyway, after you handle mantles, do yourself a favor and make sure you wash your hands, okay? Because there is a coating on these mantles, and you want to make sure not to get that on food, or if you're a smoker, you don't want to get it on a cigarette and then smoke the cigarette. That's even worse than getting it on food. So make sure you wash your hands after you handle mantles. So anyway, these are the tie kind. These aren't the Instaclip kind. It comes with the tie kind. And you just want to put it on there. You want to get the string in between those two lips there. Okay, so you just get the string in between the two lips, and then you tighten up the string. So you want to make sure to double knot it. I always do. To me, that's a good practice to double knot it. Okay. And then you want to make sure that you take a pair of scissors and cut off the excess string. Just like that. That would be one mantle. And you want to make sure to do this outside because we're going to have to burn the mantle, and you definitely don't want to do that in an enclosed space. So once again, get your mantle up there, string in between the two lips, and go ahead and get my first knot started here. Just like so. It makes it a little easier if you start your first knot before you put it on there. And then double tie it. Sorry if my hands are in the way. Pretty self-explanatory though. It's not rocket science. Cut off your excess string. And I always like to make sure that I have my mantles away from the generator as best I can, and all of that before I burn them. And then what you want to do is take your lighter, and you want to try to burn it as evenly as possible. So when you light them, you want to go back and forth across the bottom of the mantle to try to get it as burning as even as possible. So let's go ahead and start that. They will put off a lot of smoke when they burn. Sorry. Got just enough wind to give me a headache. And wouldn't you know it, my lighter runs out. So, what's the old pupper saying? One is none, two is one, right? I don't happen to have another one of those, but I do have my Meritech Peanut XL. Try not to inhale that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, since there is a little bit of wind out here, I'm going to go ahead grab my globe here. And I'm going to go ahead and set it down like that, okay? That way, I want as much of that to burn off ahead of time as possible. And the reason why is because the first time you fire these things up, after you install the mantles, there will, up top where you still see it green up there, that will still need to burn off. So, put that globe on there to go ahead and keep the wind off of it so as much of it kind of burns off as possible. So you see me just make sure I got the globe. Let me pull that off and show you real quick. On this piece here, and try not to touch the mantle like I did. On this piece here, you will see these tabs on it. So you want to make sure that your globe is inside of all 4 of those tabs, okay? Make sure that 1 or more of them are not outside of those tabs. It kind of acts like a spring. It's kind of got a spring effect to it, okay? So, let's go ahead and put our top on. Just like that. Tighten that down, and you don't need to crank it down or nothing. Don't crank it down, just get it good and tight. Good snugged up tight. You don't need to crank it down. Put the bail in the back here. Now, fuel. Simple enough. Wanted to make sure that those weren't really burning. Of course, you don't want to be fueling it when there's open flame around. Grab our filter funnel here. You want to make sure that the longer part of the funnel, this side here, is down. I always put my funnel in my bottle after I get done fueling. That way I can let as much drain down and back into the bottle as possible, so I'm not wasting or getting it all over the place. And that looks good there. That's right at the bottom of the fuel neck here. So I'm going to go ahead and put on our cap. And before we go any further, Cap's good and tight. Before we go any further, I'm going to clear away all the trash, and I'm going to get rid of the fuel bottles, and then we are going to light this for the first time. Okay, I've got everything cleared away and put up. I grabbed the rag that I have in my stove case, so I did spill a little bit of fuel on the table. Want to make sure that's all cleaned up. Make sure that there's no fuel or anything around the filler hole, the cap or anything. So I do believe we're ready to go. So I will be doing a more in-depth video on the repair and diagnosis and stuff like that of these lanterns, just as I will be doing on the stoves as well. But there is something here that I want to focus on, and this is where I cringed every time I watched most of the other videos. When you go to light these things, okay, you have your lighter. I don't know if this one's going to work now or not. When you have your lighter lit and ready to go, then you turn on your valve, okay? In most of these videos that I've seen, you've got people out there that crank that valve open, they turn that valve on, and then, sorry about the airplane noise, we live in a small community. We have a glider port just outside of town, and so that was a tow plane that just flew overhead. It actually just released the gliders. So anyway, so I've seen them crank that valve open, and then they sit there and they play around with their lighter and all of that. Folks, please don't do that. Don't do that. It's gonna go whoosh no matter what you do pretty well, okay? So, but you can minimize that by not turning that valve on until your lighter is in position and lit and ready to go. Then you turn your valve on. So anyway, it hasn't been pumped up yet, so we're going to open up this about one turn counterclockwise. We're going to give it about 30 pumps. 1, 2, I'm not going to count them all out. Okay, gonna turn it back clockwise and lock it down. I'm going to stick my head down there. I'm going to take a quick listen. Okay. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not seeing anything. It looks like we are good to go. I am going to turn the valve open just to make sure we hear it working. And I did. I don't know if you could hear the hiss or not. I most certainly did. And I'm going to use my Meritech Peanut XL lighter to light it. I'm not going to try to fight that, plus it'd be hard to get up in there. So as I was saying, you want to get your lighter lit. You want to get your lighter up underneath the hole here. I think my lighter went out. And see, that was the issue that these folks were having. Oops, their lighters were going out. I hope I'm not out of fluid here. Their lighters were going out and everything else, and they were just not ready to light it. I might need to add fluid to this. I think it's getting low. There we go. It will take off. Being the first time, it's got to prime the system. So we'll let it do that. I'm going to go ahead and give it some more pumps. I'm going to back that flame off a little bit. We're going to let that generator get nice and warm. This does work on the same premise as what the stoves work on. There is a generator in there. Once that generator heats up, it will better turn the liquid into a gas, which is what you want. You're going to go ahead and turn it back up a little bit. And there you go. There is a working Coleman lantern. Again, this is the model 285A. It is the smaller version. I wanted the smaller version for our purposes, so it works out great for us. If you want the larger version, then you're going to want the Powerhouse or the 295A. This will work perfect. And again, you know, the neat thing is, and I don't know if you'd want to do this or not, I had thought about it and then I had decided against it. So I'm actually not going to do this. But the base of this lantern case is the perfect size to fit that 533 dual fuel stove as well. So you can get these on Amazon for $16.99, and if you wanted to, you can actually use this case also for your stove case. And if you wanted to, you could build a little area up here to where you could put spare parts and all of that stuff. I thought about doing that, and then I wound up deciding against it. I am not going to do that. So thought I would let you know that, though. And that is, again, that's the 285A. The smaller of the two will fit the base of the 533 dual fuel stove, so single burner stove. So anyway, this appears to be functioning as it should. And you can turn it down and adjust your light. That's what's nice about them. You can adjust your light level to where you need it. They will burn for an incredible amount of time. I think on low, if you turn it down low, I think you'll get like, I want to say 13.5 hours is what they're saying out of it. I can't remember on high, full blown what it was, 5 hours maybe. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure on the high end, but on the low end you can get 13.5 hours out of a tank of fuel. So I also want to really impress on you that this is not our primary form of lighting, just like the stove's not our primary form of cooking, okay? Anytime you have a fuel that is either going to be impossible and or hard to replace, you don't want to rely on that as your primary means, okay? And we're talking SHTF. Again, nothing I talk about is ever about hiking. I have no idea where that guy got that from. I don't hike. I don't do this for hikers. I do this for preparedness in the case of a major event, whether it be, you know, local or regional or even national. That is the reasons why I do this. And again, this is not the primary, but if we need a fair amount of light, a good amount of light for a fair amount of area, okay, this is a good answer to that. This is a good answer to that. But there are other methods. You know, we've got LED lighting, and of course you know that we've got solar to recharge batteries and all of that stuff to be able to use our LED lighting. We've got all kinds of redundancies, okay? This is just another one of those redundancies. This is a handy way to be able to put off a fair amount of light. And again, you can store the fuel for a very, very long time. We plan on storing, I'm hoping we get between 20 and 25 gallons of fuel, okay? That will last for a long time, especially if you use it sparingly, especially if you don't use this as a primary means of lighting, okay? So I really want to impress that on you. You kind of have to know our intentions, what our intent is. Otherwise, you can take anything out of context and make anybody look silly. But, you know, everybody has their own circumstances, and that's one thing that I really, really try to teach, that everybody has their own circumstances, and you have to prep for your circumstances, nobody else's. And you can't let anybody else try to prep for you for your circumstances. Only you know those circumstances, and you have to prep for your circumstances, nobody else's. Those folks aren't going to be there when you're high and dry in need. They're not going to be there to save you after taking their advice, you know, and then running into failure. They're not going to be there to save you. You have to think about this stuff ahead of time, okay? So I think these are a great alternative. And if we're talking about a short-term, local SHTF. Something like this is perfect for lighting if you're outside. You're not supposed to use them inside, so I would recommend against using them inside. However, when it comes to outside, if you have things that you need to do outside or whatever the case may be, if you just happen to be outside in whatever that event is, this is a really, really good option to go with. So on Amazon, I've seen the prices range anywhere from $62.99 all the way up to, and this is crazy, $95 I've seen charged just for the lantern, the 285A, without the case. Just for the lantern alone, I've seen them charging $95 for it. But you can get the lantern with the case for $62.99 for the one that's shipped and sold by Amazon. Sometimes they go out of stock, but keep an eye on them. I will put the Amazon one in the Amazon store. So, and you can always find that Amazon store if you go to the watchmannews.com. Top right, we have our Amazon affiliate link. We also have an Amazon store link. And so this will be, I will put this under the, I'll put it under a category, Coleman dual fuel lantern is the category that I will put this, and things like mantles and anything else you may need to repair or upkeep your lanterns. So as always, I'll run through the little spiel real quick. We are an Amazon affiliate. If you use our Amazon link, which is in the description of the video or on the home page of the watchmannews.com, it doesn't cost you anything more. It gives us a little bit. And this is how we're able to do this and bring you not only reviews, but informational videos on how to repair and maintain and all of that of these types of devices. So please use our Amazon link. It's in the description again of the video. It's also on our homepage of thewatchmannews.com. We also have the Amazon store there. So we have the link both in the description and on our homepage. So that will categorize all kinds of different areas of items that we do recommend that people get. So other than that, if you don't shop Amazon or just want to throw a little bit for the cause, you go to thewatchmannews.com. There is a donate button. You click on that, it will take you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can use a debit or a credit card. It's much appreciated. Never required, but we always throw it out there because, believe it or not, that helps us tremendously at being able to help bring you this type of content. And we've got a lot of content to come yet. We've got a lot of review videos and stuff like that. I'm really behind on this kind of stuff, but we just got this in yesterday afternoon, and I didn't have a chance to get out yesterday and make this video, so I'm out here today doing it. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down now so it can start cooling off, and that way I can stow it away in its case and put it up. So anyway, I hope this video has been informative for you. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them. If you've got criticism, please keep it to yourself. Nobody needs that crap on YouTube. You know, this is hopefully a place to learn. This is a place to grow, not a bunch of chest beating for people that want to make themselves seem bigger than what they are. So that is what it is. So I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you for watching. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.